Welcome to my Scrappin space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. And today I'm going to share with you 4 ways to avoid naked envelopes. We don't want to make beautiful cards and send them in naked envelopes, do we? No, we don't. So what do you say we get my face out of the way and we start chatting? So there's all kinds of ways to avoid naked envelopes. I'm going to show you 4 easy ways. And let's just do one at a time. The first is, if you're already stamping on a project, stamp on your envelopes. This is from the August Paper Pumpkin class, and in class, after we made our cards and our alternate projects, we took the candle stamps from that kit and just stamped on our envelopes, and it worked with all of our alternate cards. That's a really easy thing to do. Something else you can do if you're going to stamp, you can stamp and color an image. Now I'm going to tell you right now, and those of you who follow me already know this, no one's following me, folks, for coloring tips. I'm terrible at coloring, but it's going through the mail. It's probably going to get a little zinged up. And so it's okay to color on your envelopes because no one's really going to know how bad it is. Well, you might with mine, but some of you guys are going to color beautifully. Anyway, what I want to point out is I stamped this, whoa, flying ink pads with the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. I'm going to color it with blends, which are alcohol markers. They blend beautifully, they color beautifully, but they tend to want to go through all layers of your paper. So before I begin coloring, I just grabbed a scrap of paper, it doesn't have to be white, and I'm putting that under my colored image so that I don't see part of ink on the back of here. Okay, so then we're just going to color, and I'm probably not going to color all of this because even this is a lot of coloring for me, but I just want to show you. So you can just color. And again, no one's watching this video for coloring tips, and anyone who knows me is not, when you want tips on coloring, your first thought is, let's go see what Joni's doing. Yeah, coloring is just not my thing. And luckily it's, for a lot of you it is, and you make beautiful things with it. I'm not one of those people. So I'm just coloring in the cat. My niece has a beautiful cat named Gizmo, and this is the color of Gizmo. So if I can color this staying in the lines, this is going to go on to a card to her. And if I can't, we'll just use one of the other techniques I'm going to show you today to decorate the envelope of the card I'm sending her. But I thought she might like getting an envelope with a gray cat on it. Okay. Now the thing about blends is, especially like when I'm using the dark and the light, again, don't come to me for coloring tips, but I don't really want to stop because I want to blend where I put a little bit of that dark in there and blend it with the light. So you're going to have to watch me just kind of mess up the rest of this. Then I'll go back and figure out something with the cat's eyes. Okay, and I didn't even stay in the lines. But again, for an overall image, it's not bad. And this is what I'm talking about. You'd get some of that mark through on the back of the envelope. So let's keep track here. We want no naked envelopes. And the first thing you can do, or one of them, is you can stamp and color. That's easy, isn't it? Okay. Here's the most common way I do that. I tend to, and you'll see this often in my videos, I take a paper that I've used on the card and I do it here. And I like to do that because I like to kind of have that run through my whole project. So a paper I'm using on the front of my card is not just for the front of my card. There's a strip on the inside and often a strip on the envelope. Let me show you how easy that is. So we're going to put, and in Stampin' Up terms, we call that DSP, which is Designer Series paper, okay? And we're going to cut a strip that is 2 1/4 by 6. So we're making this fun Halloween card in a class I'm doing tonight. Now, when you have this kind of design, there's no really Designer Series paper on it. So there are packs of 6x6. They're in family colors. So this is Gorgeous Grape, so it came from the Regal family. And what I'm going to do is cut a piece that's 2 1/4 by 6. So I'm going to line my paper up at 2 1/4. I'm going to make sure it's at the top, at that lip, and I'm going to push against that so it stays in place. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm cutting towards that lip. I'm not pulling it away. All right, 2 1/4. Then we're going to grab an envelope, and I'm going to put glue on the envelope flap, not on this paper, because my envelope flap is smaller than that strip of paper we just cut. And the point of that is, if you just grab this and put glue all the way along here, when I lay that down, I'm going to have glue where I don't want it. So glue always goes on the smaller of the 2 pieces of paper that you are doing. This is a great job for a multi-purpose glue. You don't need a lot, but you do want to go all the way around the envelope flap, because what you don't want to do is just top and bottom, and then some kind of postal sorting machine is going to get caught in between those 2 layers because it isn't glued down. Ask me how I know. Yes, there we go. So then I'm just going to push that flat. And what I did, the reason I had this envelope flap holding like this, the envelope base, then I could kind of push against that. Now, all I need to do, this is the easiest fussy cutting you're ever going to do. I'm just using that envelope flap as my guide, and I'm just going to trim that. Look at that. Truly easy peasy. And look how great it looks with that. Okay, so we can cover it with DSP. The next way we can do is emboss. I love doing this. I think it really adds to the envelope. I used to do it just for like wedding or anniversary cards. Now I do it for a lot of cards. For example, this was a fun card I shared on Monday in my Merry Monday segment, and I used a brand new embossing folder. And then I embossed the envelope flap. Doesn't that just add something? It's quick, it's easy. Let me show you how quick and easy that is. So this embossing folder is the brand new one called Forever Plaid. And we have some of these newer embossing folders that are wider. And if you're going to emboss with a wider folder, you can send it through the way you usually do. What you want to make sure of is we're going to try to not go past the fold line. And I'm going to grab some colored paper because I think it's easier to see. And maybe not. Yes. So the embossing actually ends right here. Oops, run away. And the end of the folder is here. So I'm going to line up this fold line here with there. And again, if I am doing it in here, that's pretty easy. I can just do that and it will go that way. And then we're just going to send it through. But what if I want to use one of these lovely embossing folders and it doesn't fit there, like my envelope flap. Sorry, guys. My envelope flap is wider than there. Then we're going to go sideways. And I know those of you who watch me, I always say fold first when you're sending it through. This is the exception. Here's what you don't want to do, and I've just seen some people do it because it seemed to make sense to them. You don't want to fold this under because now you have a gap, and there's going to be a gap where you emboss. Let's emboss this one going sideways, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm using distressed tile, and I want to use plates 1 and 4. And we're going to go sideways so you can see what I'm doing. Here is plate 1. That's easy. We always use plate 1. Plate 4 in the Stampin' Up system is going to be your gray plate. So I'm going to line this up. Just watching to see if you can see. Yep. I'm going to line up this fold with at the end of where that embossing ends. And actually, if you're going on the side, it's easier than at the bottom. Then we're going to lay it this way, so it goes through this way. Set that down. Put this on top, and I want to run it through for you because I want you to, I think you'll be able to hear. It's going to make a little, I'm always saying to you how easy it should go through. See how easy it still goes? But then, did you hear that little, like it falls off the end of the embossing folder and makes a little sound. And it's supposed to do that, so that's okay. Look at that. Such a difference from sending a beautiful card you made in this envelope. Yeah, no naked envelopes. Instead, in this envelope. And how easy was that to do? I'll also share a little tip with you. You can actually do 2 envelopes at the same time. And if you have a really heavy folder, it works better because a heavy folder can sometimes almost rip the paper. But I just line them up exactly, send both of them through the same way I sent this one, and it works. Okay, one more way that we can decorate. We can die cut the envelope flap. Now, you can't do it with every die cut, but let me show you what you can do it with. In the current selection, there is a set of dies called Elegant Border Dies. And I pushed it, oh, here we go. I pushed it aside when I was making room to work. Look at this lovely little die. Very narrow, we like that, okay? And when you, just a quick tip on using narrow dies for this project or anything else. I'm gonna wait and see if you, I think you can see that. This side is flat and this side has a little rim to it. Let's see if it's easier this way, not necessarily. The rim has to go in the bottom because that's doing the cutting part. So I can't put it up this way because it will cut off the wrong part of the envelope. Let me show you how easy this is to do. So when we're die cutting, we want plate 1, plate 2, and 2 of plate 3. And you want this to be flat. And if you don't happen to have any flat plates, I'll just quick show you what you can do. So here's our, oh, we're not going to die cut the one we just die cut, Joni. Let's try again. Here's my envelope. I'm just going to grab a Post-it note. Here's my die, making sure that where I can feel that ledge is on the bottom. And you just need to make sure that the die stays within each side of this plate. I'm going to put this pretty close to the bottom because I want to be able to hold on to as much adhesive as I can. And if you end up cutting off more adhesive than you know, like what's on the envelope flap, right here. This is still enough to seal. If you think it isn't, that's why you have liquid glue or you have all kinds of adhesives. You're a paper crafter. I'm going to set this on here. And we're going to run this one through. Just like that. So if you happen to use this die on the front of a card, use it again on your envelope. Look at that. Oh, and I have a little bit of gunk on my plate. How easy was that? Okay, so we have no reason to send naked envelopes, right? Because we have all kinds of ways that we can decorate those envelopes. Even if you're not good at coloring, you can just stamp a single image, or you can know that my niece is going to love this even though I didn't do a great job of coloring. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. If you liked what you saw, please share it with your crafty friends. And until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.